In this session, we want to make this simple animation in After Effects from the first step to the last, so you can review what you learned here. To begin, we create a new project. In the first step, we find our graphics from the FreePic website. I'm looking for buttons right now. You see the different types of buttons. I have downloaded this one. Then I removed the extra parts I didn't want in the Illustrator program and put each one in separate layers. I explained before how you should do this. I told you how you can work with the Illustrator and arrange the layers. As you can see, I separated the ones I wanted to animate. I took a duplicate from the heart and changed its color. In the same way, I put each part of this design in the separate layer. Objects that don't move are also in one layer. And the last one is the background. I changed its size to 1080 and 1080 because I want to upload it on Instagram. Save it in the name of Project 1, wherever you want. I hit Ctrl S. Go to the After Effects, then double click here and import this Illustrator file. If you remember, I said we put these on composition and layer size. It appears here. Double click on it to see the object's layer. Press Ctrl K and you'll see it's in the size of 1080 and 1080. Put the duration on 40 seconds because we want our animation to last 14 seconds. To start, we click on the hand and move it off the stage. Hide the cursor layer for now. We want it to appear after clicking on something. This hand is supposed to move and come on these handles. For this task, we use the position. Press Alt-Shift-P to open both the position and create a keyframe. Zoom in on the timeline. Go to the frame 20th and drag the hand over here. Press the space key. It is shown up like this. Here it stays motionless for a while, and then I want to give it a click effect. In this area, hit Alt-Shift-S. The scale will be added. Go a few seconds forward and put this one on 80 to make it a bit smaller. Again, few frames forward, I make it a little bigger. 2 frames after, for example, I make it 100%. We have such an effect now. You can change the time. Select all the keyframes, use Alt and change their timing. There are no special rules for putting keyframes. Act according to your taste. If you feel good about it, continue. I think this is good. I repeat it several times. It is fine. I'll continue the rest of the work. I want this option, which we had disabled before, to appear around the finger as soon as it clicks. I select the first layer, hit 1 on the keyboard. Use the open bracket to layer come forward. Hit P for the positioning layer and move this layer like this. If I zoom in on the finger, you will see it better. See? I will continue the cursor effect until here and delete the rest of the layer. Use Alt and close bracket like this. If I specify my work area, you can focus on your job better. B to begin the work area and N for its ending. I can preview this part now. Preview the animation several times, and if you feel it's okay, you can move forward. So far we have created this. In my opinion, it is alright and we can animate the rest. After clicking on this handle, I want it to wait a few frames. For example, up to this frame. I'll increase the work area a bit and add a new position keyframe here. In this frame, I want the hand to move up with the handle. You have to do it on the previous keyframe. I hold the shift to place it there. I also select the handle with shift and with Alt Shift P create a new keyframe. A few frames later, we move the handle up a little bit. I change its position only on the Y-axis. Of course, we have to move both hand and handle at the same time. So press Ctrl Z and select both of them using Shift. Now I'll move them on the Y-axis. I'll play the motion. That's what we made so far. You can change the speed by moving the keyframes if needed. This one is fine. We also have to make this red part go up with them. Let's go to the frame where the movement started. I mean here. Now is the best time to categorize layers. You may select the wrong layer later. For example, I change the loading color. Pitch looks better, I guess. Same thing for other layers. Change the heart layer to red. I categorize the layers of object. This is how we realize that this red color is for the heart. I change the color of the slider. Pink is fine. I make this orange. I make this green. You can choose the color of that object to not be confused. Now we have categorized our layers. These grays also belong to the mouse. The pink layer is for the slider. We come here and hit Alt Shift S. I want to scale this up. If you look closely, you see the anchor point is here. We have to bring it down. Because if we scale it in Y-axis, it changes in this way on both sides. But I want to scale it from the bottom. I select the anchor point tool. The shortcut is Y button. Do it on the first frame. Hold Ctrl and put it right here. Hold the Shift to stick the CDI to the keyframe. And I increase the scale on the Y-axis. Up to here. It looks like this. We animated till here. After the handle reached here, I want to pause for a few frames. Then I want to move this heart up. A few frames later, till here. This is our mouse layer. I make a position keyframe to remain it fixed. Space and you'll see the motion. It's fine till now. I'll go forward and make our workspace bigger. At this frame, I want to take down the hand. Hit V to select the selection tool. Select the hand and put it on the heart. Hit B to shorten the work area. Its timing is fine to me. If you found it slow, bring the keyframes closer, but it's fine to me. For the clicking effect, we don't have to make it from scratch. We can make a copy of the previous one we created. Select all these keyframes and Ctrl C. A few frames later, Ctrl V. Looks like this. You can also copy the mouse round effect from the first layer. Here, hit 1 from the keyboard. By Ctrl D, get a duplicate from this layer. Move this layer forward and place it on the top of the keyframes I copied. We have to adjust its position in this place. Its position is here now. Hit the P button. In the position layer, I lower its y-axis number and also take it to the left on the x-axis. Zoom in. Because the color of both of them is white, it's not very clear. But we create the effect. You can scale it a little bit. Press S. In such a way, it surrounds the heart. Press Shift P to add the position, and I move it down just a little, and a bit to the right. We've built our motion so far. Now I want the new layer to be displayed after clicking, and it stays a few frames. I'll specify the timing. This is the heart layer. I want this layer to disappear here. I hit Alt and close bracket. So this way we cut the layer and the bottom layer will show up. Reduce the range. Play it several times. Play with the keyframes to reach your desired result. As soon as this hand clicks, I want the heart shape changes. I think it's fine. A few frames after, I want the cursor to stay fixed. For example, till here. And then, until the 5th second, I want these hands and hearts to go up. I select them both. Of course, we should make a keyframe for the heart too. In the frame we are in, press Alt-Shift-P. A keyframe was added right there for them. In the next step, I take them up, but I don't take them off the scene either. This is a good place. Play the animation. Before that, I press Shift question mark to fit the screen. Space. And this is how it's displayed. After this, I want to keep this hand up for a few frames, and then move it to the handle, grab it, and move it to the left. I move the CTI. I want this hand to be fixed till here. In the position section, I create a keyframe. For example, in second 6, I want the hand to move down. Now both layers are selected. Press F2 to deselect the layers. Select the hand layer and move it down and place it on this orange handle. Like this. Now it is time to save the project. Press Ctrl S on the keyboard. Specify a place to save your project. Also type a name, Project 1 for example, and then press Enter. Hit B to set the work area. After placing my hand on the orange handle, I want to leave it a few frames motionless. To do this, create a keyframe in the position. The hand and orange handle should now be animated to the left. First, we find the orange handle layer and select it. Hold Shift and select the hand layer as well. Then hit Alt-Shift-P to create a position keyframe for both layers. I slightly increased the work area range. A few frames later, in second 7 for example, move both layers to the left on the x-axis. I zoom in a little. Continue till here. Press B and specify the work area. Press the space to play the animation. Now it's time for the orange bar. Bring CTI here. Select the orange line. To make it smaller, we have to scale it from the x-axis. But before that, we have to move its anchor point. Tap Y on the keyboard. I have to put it at the corner of the line. Hold the Control and place it exactly at this point. In the same frame as we are, hit Alt-Shift-S to create the scale keyframe. Hold Shift and move CTI and drop it here. In this frame, we have to scale it from the x-axis. Disable this chain so that you can move the x-axis alone. Scale it and place it just below the button. Now if I play the video using space key, we made such an animation. Of course, before moving this handle, the hand should be clicked, which we forgot to create this effect. Don't worry, we can add it right here. Scroll up a little bit. Here we need to add the click effect. We can copy it from the previous one. Ctrl C and Ctrl V. We can move these keyframes a little bit. Select all these keyframes using Shift and moving them to the right. So you see, even if we make a mistake, we can still edit them and there is no reason to worry. Even professionals make mistakes. I can also move these keyframes and put them in the middle. Play the animation. Again, you can move these keyframes further. Don't forget to select the lower layer keyframes with the help of Shift and move them together. Otherwise, your animation may mess up. I will also move these middle keyframes a little. Now I have to add that tapping effect as well. Find and select its layer. Press Ctrl D to get a duplicate. Move it and place it on top of the hand frames. Right here. Hold Shift to stick this layer to where the CTI is located. Now we have to change its position. It's here now. I hit P and move it along the Y and X axis and place it exactly around the hand. Hit S and scale it down. If you remember, we changed it. Scale it a little bit. It's okay now in size. Hit P and move it a little. Play the animation. I enlarge the work area range to be more focused. Now I will play the animation again. Well, after this, I want this hand to remain motionless for a few frames. Then I will come on the green handle, click and move it to the right. To do this, I select the hand layer, create a keyframe from the position section. I zoom in the timeline with the Alt and middle mouse scroll. I move this keyframe a little and put it on the second 8. After 8 seconds, here for example, I want the hand to move and be on the green handle. Press B to shorten the work area. N for the end. Press the space to play the animation. Its timing is good. I want to be clicked here again. I'm copying from the previous effect. Ctrl C. Move the CTI here and press Ctrl V. I also enlarge the work area range. Press B and shrink the work area. Now I have to add the mouse round effect as well. I get the Ctrl D from this layer. I move it forward and move it exactly where CTI is located. Hold Shift so that this layer sticks to the CTI. We need to move this layer. Hit P and move it from the X and Y axis. and place it exactly around the finger. Next, I want a few frames to be motionless. In this frame, I create a keyframe in the position section. Next step, the hand with the green circle should move to the right. In the same frame we are in, select the green circle. If you remember, we changed the color of the layer to green. Hold Shift and select the hand. Hit Alt-Shift-P to create the position keyframe. Now a few frames later, for example here, I select the hand and move it to the right on the X-axis. Till here. Hit B. If you feel that the speed is high, select this key, hold the Shift and select this key as well, and move them to the right. As I said, you can adjust the timing of each motion by changing the position of the keyframes. Now I like this one. We also need to move this green bar. Scroll down and select the second green layer. Hit Y and move its anchor point. Hold the Ctrl and place it exactly at this point. Hit V. Press Alt-Shift-S to create a scale keyframe. Put the CTI on this frame and scale it from the X-axis. Enlarge it slightly to hide under this button. Press the space to play the animation. Now I want the hand to stand motionless for a few frames. For example here. I click on this button to create a keyframe. Then I want to move the hand down and click this button. In this frame, I move the hand and place it on this button. Press B and preview the animation. A few frames later, I give that clicking effect. I can use the click effect we created before. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. While clicking, I want the button below it to be animated. The technique is the same. Click the button. In the frame we are in now, press Alt-Shift-S to create a scale keyframe. A few frames later, make this 80%. Few frames later, make this 120%. And return to normal a few frames later. Press B and play the animation. If you are not very satisfied with this timing, you can move these keyframes. It's almost good now, but I'm still not completely satisfied. I move it a bit and play the animation. I'm satisfied with the result now. Well, after a few frames, I want these lamps to light up in order. But before that, let me add the mouse round effect. Press Ctrl D to duplicate this layer. Move it forward and place it exactly in the click position. Adjust the CTI position. By holding Shift, move this layer forward to stick to the CTI. I have to move this down. Tap P on the keyboard and adjust its position. We can scale this effect a bit. Press Shift S to add the scale, then make it a little bigger. This way the button is surrounded all around. I also adjust its position a little bit. Now I'm satisfied with the result. After the hand clicks the button, wait a few frames and then turn on the lights in order. To be able to do this, I first click on the lamp layer. I move the CTI forward a few frames. Now I need to get the duplicate of this layer. Ctrl D. Press open bracket to move this layer here. Now we need to change the position of this copied layer. I zoom a little bit on the screen, press the P button and move it forward from the X-axis. You see, our first light turned on. Now I want this to happen every 5 frames. I get a duplicate from this layer again. I move this layer 5 frames forward. I want the bottom layer to happen exactly in frame 15. With the open bracket, move the layer. Select the top layer, hit P, and move it forward on the X-axis. Ctrl D. Move it 5 frames forward. P. Move it forward. Repeat this for the other lights at the distance of 5 frames. Here, if you pay attention, our composition is over in 14 seconds. To add the composition time, press Ctrl K, and in the duration section, set the time to 15 seconds and click OK. 1 second added to your composition time. You can continue working now. Again, if you pay attention, our background is over. We have to increase the background time and the rest of the elements to 15 seconds. Select all these layers by holding down the Ctrl key and clicking. Set the CTI to second 15 and press Alt close bracket to extend their time. You can do the same for the hand layer. Select the layer, at 15 seconds, hit Alt close bracket. Now I select this layer and hit P and move it forward on the X-axis. My animation is completed now. Enlarge the composition screen with the button below the escape. Zoom in with Shift and question mark, and then press the space. As you see, our work area is limited. By Alt Ctrl B, work area returns to the first state. By pressing Home from the keyboard, CTI moves to the first frame. Place the mouse on the composition and enlarge this window with the button below escape. Now if you press the space key on the keyboard, you can see the animation from the beginning. So as the first project, we were able to make such an animation. I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial video as well.